Let's move to Christchurch now, 2 years on. Today, when we remember all that's been lost there, it's possible to forget that that city will be rebuilt. But so many people have stayed in Christchurch because they believe in the city and what it will become. Later, we hear from some of those people. But first, some people who've come from far and wide to start new lives there and build a new city where the old one fell. Kate King with a Kiwi engineering company like no other.
It could be any meeting, in any office, in any part of the world. But this group of people all live in Christchurch. They're all engineers and they're all foreigners.
In the last year we've employed another 100, and of that 100, around about 60 have come from overseas, from many countries, I think in total about 27 different countries.
You got the different kind.
Yep, 27 different countries.
Buenos dias, my name is Danielle Lake and I'm from New Mexico, USA.
Hi, I'm Tom Revel and I'm from London, England.
Hi, I'm Jeff Ray from North Carolina, USA.
Hi, New Zealand. My name is Willem Nel from South Africa.
Willem moved to Christchurch in July with his wife and 3 kids. He's a civil engineer.
I worked for Aurecon in South Africa, and being an international company, they were looking to source people to come to Christchurch because they had an internal shortage of people. So it came across my desk, this email that they were looking for a senior civil engineer. So I went home, discussed it with my wife and asked her how will she like to go and live in New Zealand for a few years.
This property owned by Ngāi Tahu is soon to be a subdivision.
We're doing ground improvements to bring everything up to TC1 level so that the future buyers, that there's no issue from them if they come and buy a section.
Willem has already been here for about a year, so how are he and his family settling in?
The cost of living is very expensive for us, and then the housing is very scarce. I pay almost double what I pay in South Africa for something that's half the size.
It's quite an expensive exercise, so we pay for the travel for them to get to New Zealand, we pay for their possessions to come out, we accommodate them for the first 4 weeks, and if they haven't found somewhere within the first 4 weeks, we'll accommodate a bit longer.
You got the different kind.
Hi, I'm Deborah Hickerty and I'm from Ireland.
I'm from the Netherlands Antilles, Dutch Caribbean, Mikkel Gartner.
I'm Robert Kamhanjire from Uganda.
Hi, I'm James Cott and I've come out here from the United Kingdom.
I'm Zoe Platts from Newcastle, Australia.
Zoe Platts is a 26-year-old geotechnical engineer, so too is 34-year-old James Codd. They both moved to Christchurch with their partners.
We were looking to move to Christchurch for some time, but there wasn't a lot of work here. And then September 2010 rolled around and suddenly everyone needed a geologist.
They're based here at the Port Hills, the scene of many a rockfall in the past 3 years, even as recently as last month. Their job is to stabilise it and look for signs of landslides or cliff collapses which could affect roads and property.
It is tough work. Some of it's very physical. We can be up trudging around the hills for long days. We could be sat next to a drilling rig on a 12-hour shift in cold wind and rain.
We spend most of our time crawling around on the Port Hills and working out there, and it's a mixture of office and field work.
Luckily, finding somewhere to live was a lot easier than they thought.
We looked around 3 or 4 houses, and the one we were in New Brighton, we were lucky enough to meet the landlady just by coincidence, and I think that helped us a great deal.
I'm living over in Littleton at the moment and absolutely love it over there in the port town. I know that some people are finding it hard to find accommodation in Christchurch. We didn't find it too difficult. I guess we were very lucky.
The rebuild could be somewhere between 10 and 20 years, so they'll be here for that. Some of them will be for that period, some are going to be here permanently. No doubt some will return back to their native homeland.
I often think about the world.
Hi, my name is Guerre Carrigan and I am from Canada.
I am Luis Castillo and I'm from Caracas, Venezuela.
Buhay, I'm Ryan Firme from Manila, Philippines.
Hi, I'm Forrest Lanning. I'm from California.
Forrest Lanning is a 37-year-old structural engineer.
And I was working in Afghanistan and Indonesia dealing with earthquake recovery and structural assessments of buildings in high seismic areas. So naturally, when the earthquake happened, it opened the door, an opportunity to come down here and contribute down here.
And this is his task, retrofitting the Christchurch Art Gallery.
I took a pay cut coming down here, but where I was working before, it was a war zone, and so it's fine. I'm happy to do that. Also, I wanted to stick with earthquake reconstruction. So, but tell you the truth, as compared to a wage from back in the States, it's competitive. It's about the same.
In the days after the earthquake, the art gallery was the base for all operations in the red zone. Everyone gathered here, but now the doors are closed and there's no one in sight.
It's kind of a shame that you don't have the CBD, but that's what we're here for, is rebuilding it. But there is a great lifestyle outside, and you have a lot of things to do. It's a little far to come here from wherever you're coming from, like from the States or from Europe, but it's enjoyable. I have had a great time.
They get on really well. We have lots of sports that we organise, dragon boating, golf, not netball, but basketball. They're all mates. They go mountain biking in the hills, snow skiing. They love it here.
Kate King reporting. Yes, there isn't a lot left of the Christchurch CBD, but for archaeologists, the destruction of what sits on top has given them a unique chance to look beneath. They invited Jendi Harper along on a dig in Christchurch Central.
Their window of opportunity is often brief when we find them. They are working alongside surveyors in the trenches. Within weeks, a concrete footpath will bury all this again. The devastating earthquake of 2 years ago has afforded archaeologists a one-off opportunity. With buildings downed and sites cleared, the land beneath the city has been sifted and shifted and scrutinised like never before.
It is a tragedy, but it has provided us with an opportunity to learn more about 19th century Christchurch on a scale unprecedented in the country. It's probably the last opportunity we have because of the development that will result out of this.
New Regent Street, with its beloved Spanish facades, is now Christchurch's last remaining historic streetscape. If not for the earthquake, Nick Campbell would never have been digging here, would not have found this most precious piece.
The piece de resistance, the hero find of the job so far, roller skate from the roller skating rink, 1880s, 1900s, one of the two.
Did you recognise it straight away?
No, I didn't. I thought it was just a lump of metal. I had to play around a bit. As soon as I did, though, that was it. I was jumping for joy.
It is a tangible link, physical evidence of New Regent Street's first life as a skating rink. A vast roof covered the whole block. Beneath shop floors, they found the concrete supports.
It is detective work.
Patrick Hartsveld has unearthed the original rink foundations. But Nick is more excited about the bits and bobs, the everyday items, the spoon, the intact teacup, the ink bottles, the drink bottle.
To know where people were having their lunch, what they were having, the kind of activities that were occurring in the building, what they were drinking.
And what they were spending.
To be honest, from my point of view, this is what connects me with the people that were here in the Victorian times. This is real people's items.
The most common find, Lee and Perrin's Worcester sauce bottles. Nick says they're everywhere under the city.
I guess tomato sauce wasn't as popular back then.
But there've been other, bigger finds too.
Under a demolished office building in Madras Street, another company of archaeologists unearthed a brick basement containing a treasure trove of Victorian antiquities.
At the old provincial buildings, they found an entire room that had been boarded up, unseen, unused for decades. Archaeologists working on the Catholic cathedral dug up the foundation for the original wooden cathedral.
And right beneath me, hidden in the ground still, are industrial furnaces from the old Atlas foundry. They were installed in 1885 when the company won a contract to build locomotives. Then they lay hidden for 100 years. Now a new car park's gone down, they're hidden again. Frank van der Heijden has worked internationally on sites dating back 250,000 years. I put to him that our history must seem very young and insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
It's all relative. It's a relatively young country, so even if something is only 200 years old, that's a quarter of our history. This is our history, and it is admittedly only a few hundred years old, but that's what it is, and that's what we're working with.
Yeah, it's the prehistoric surface.
Here they are looking for traces of life beyond broken china and sauce bottles. They're looking for signs of pre-European settlement.
So that's our prehistoric layer. Now ideally what we'd find is a small hangi put or a small oven pit, or a great big pile of shell would be great.
Metres away, a machine rips into a modern but earthquake-munted dwelling. By comparison, Nick and Patrick's excavation seems painstakingly precise. Each layer noted, each shell fragment examined. Soon Nick and Patrick will start digging here on the banks of the Avon River. It's the site they are most excited about. It's where Māori came to trade, came to sell their produce. And before that, centuries before that, this was an ancient power site. It's believed around 800 Waitaha people lived right here. So you could go from a skate to a waka would be good, because they found one before you.
That's right, they found a waka in the early part of the 19th century at around Horseshoe Lake, around Burwood School, around there.
No waka found here, but earlier today they did find the southern wall of the skating rink, another piece of the puzzle.